Alright, now that you've completed your elevations, and you should have something that looks like this, minus the texturing, what really is called hatching inside of any of these features. I want you to at least get to the basic point, which is mainly having your roof marked out, your walls and your windows. I'm not looking for any finite detail until you've completely finished everything else. Then you can come back and add some details, such as I've done here. I put roof shingles on, and this is what we call hatching, and it's basically like using the fill command on PowerPoint or something like that when you're drawing shapes or what have you. So put some shingles up. I did some detail to my window, mainly just kind of going off what I know of a window structure. I put some shutters on the sides. I went completely detailed out my door, and then of course my double window over here in the front. And again, you don't have to do that. I don't want you to get caught up on doing that. Before you even try to do that, I want you to finish everything else and then come back to that later. Okay, so the next step is to dimension, and we want to dimension our floor plan first, and then we go around dimensioning our elevations. And this is what it's going to look like, just like this right here, except for there will be dimensions all the way around. And you see here there's 3 layers. It's very important, those 3 layers, and I'm going to go over those as I dimension one. This layer out here is the overall. Now I'm saying layer. I don't mean create a different layer for each one of these. I really can't think of another word for it. But this set right here is the overall dimensions. This middle set, or the second set, is dimensioning major walls. Okay, so we got, of course, your end wall here, and then we got this wall right here, which is measured to the center. Okay, so we mark that to the center. If you look, that is right in the center. All right, and then of course back over here to the other wall end. This line, the most inset line of dimensions, is your doors and windows. And you see here, from here to here, we have the window measurement at 6 feet 2 5/16 inches. And then we extend on over to the door, which its measurement is right here as far as between this window and that door, and this is the measurement between that window and this door. And then of course we'll carry it on to the end. So that's what your dimensions will look like. Now I'm going to erase these and redo them just for you. Alright, so a couple of things you have to do first. First, look over here at your scale. You should be 1/4 inch equals 1 foot. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to edit your dimensions. Click here on dimension style. Alright, what you're going to use is the annotative, just like this right here. And you're not going to modify this particular annotative style, but you are going to highlight it just like I've done here. Okay, and then you're going to go over to this box, excuse me, and you're going to click New. And it's going to create a copy right down here. It says copy number 2 of annotative. You can just leave copy on there, or you can name it something. I might want to name it, architecture. Then I click on continue. Now I come to my editing box, and excuse me one more time. Okay, my editing box here. I'm going to pause for a moment. Okay, so anyway, we're in our editing dialog box. First thing we want to do, if we should be on symbols and arrows. If we're not, go ahead and click on that tab. As you see, there's a row of tabs here. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to go here to architectural tick, and that's what we're going to use on pretty much everything. And when you change that one, it also changes the secondary as well. Leave it just like it is. Then we're going to go to text, and we're going to change text to annotative. All right. For now, just leave 3/16 of an inch in there, and that's basically your letter height. Then we're going to go to the fit, okay, and we will make sure that annotative is checked. Primary units, it already says architectural, which is good. Sometimes they won't say architectural, so you'll have to change that. A lot of times it's still on decimal, even though you changed it when you first started this document. This is a completely different dialogue here, so you have to change it as well. Alternate units, don't worry about those. Tolerances, don't worry about those. That's for engineers when they make really small parts. And then click OK. And then close this. So now you should be set up to dimension and see the measurements of the dimensions that you're creating. So next step is to go to linear and use your linear dimensions. Grab onto the corner here, because the first measurement we want is an overall measurement. I'm going to click on that corner, and I'm going to come out to the right here and click on the next corner, the furthest extent. Okay, now that's also true if you have a piece of your house that is jutting out to the side here. You would, even though it might be set back from the front, you would still want to measure to its furthest right extent. So the furthest right extent is where you would measure to, from the furthest left to the furthest right. All right, now this is another place where you want your work to be very neat and consistent. So I'm going to place my dimension line at a certain point from the wall of the house. And to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it 8 feet from the house. To do that, I'm going to hold my shift key down and click the @ symbol. And as you see, I get the @ symbol in my dynamic input. The first box is my x-axis. Okay, I'm not going anywhere on my x-axis. Okay, my x-axis is from left to right. So I'm not going left, any further left or any further right. So I type 0. Then I click on tab to go to my y-axis. Y-axis, that's the up and down. Okay, so that's where I want to put in my 8-foot measurement. 8 foot. And actually, let me take that back. I'm going to do -8 foot because my origin point is up here and I'm pulling down. So that means I'm going into that negative quadrant on the y-axis. And then I click enter. The next line is going to be major walls. So again, I click on linear dimensions, find the corner, and I'm going to measure over here and get into the middle. Now don't lock onto anything. If I do this, then it's going to want to automatically measure to that point right there. So I'm going to turn that off. And anytime you activate any of those points, you can just hover over it again and turn it off. Okay, see how that little plus mark went away? I hover, I turn it on, there's that plus mark. I hover and turn it off, and the plus mark went away. So now I can just kind of line it up by eye to the middle of that wall. All walls are measured to the middle. And this one is going to be 6 feet from the wall. So I'll type @ oops, gotta remember to use that @ symbol there, @ and let me try that again. linear, corner, middle of the wall, click, drag out at 0 on my x-axis, tab over to my y-axis, and 6 feet. Enter. I forgot to enter negative, so that's what happens if you're not paying attention to what you're doing, such as I just did. We all do it. It's going to happen probably 100 times. So, get rid of that. Try it one more time. Oops, I actually put it down here for some reason. Linear, corner, find the middle, click, drag down, at 0, tab, negative 6 feet. Alright, now I want to continue this particular dimensioning series here, this dimension line. So I activate it by clicking on it. Then I hover over this point right here, the end, kind of that end corner point where I want to extend from. And I click on continue dimensioning. And as you see, it allows me to continue dimensioning. And then I go and I just lock it in on the corner, just like we did before. And now we have basically the measurement from the end of the house to the middle of this wall that touches the exterior wall. And then from that middle of that wall all the way to the other end of the house. Now my next line is going to be doors and windows. Click on linear, click again on the end of the house. Now I want to find the middle of that window. Okay, now be careful, don't click in here, because then your dimension line is going to be slanted just like that dotted line, that guideline is right there. Pick up that point and then pull away from it until your line is straight. And as you see, it does have that little guideline that keeps you locked in on the center there. So here's where I'll click and I'll pull away. This one's going to be at at 4 feet, or actually 0 in the x-axis, tab 4. Got to remember that negative 4 feet. And I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to activate it, hover, continue. We go to the middle of the door, and I'm just going to kind of look at it and get myself right in the middle. You can create a guideline going across here if you want, and that will certainly help you line it up. I'm just going to do it by eyesight, and I'm thinking it's about right here. All right, now for this window, again, locking in on that center point and pulling it straight, and then there we go. And locking in here. Okay, so now I have those 3 layers of dimensions overall out here, major walls in the middle, and doors and windows on the inside. All right, thank you very much, and if you have any questions, just let me know. And I'll actually make a video kind of doing some more dimensioning here, and so you'll see what the overall is going to look like.